Good morning. Today is the 27th of August, 2026. This is the Defense Sports Wires Brief, your daily roundup of the latest defense, intelligence, and international security news. I'm Stuart Webb, and here are today's top stories. President Trump believes that Iranian Supreme Leader Moshtaba Khamenei is still alive. Khamenei has not been seen in public, nor any audio or video recordings have been aired since he was injured in the bombing that killed his father and predecessor. There have been reports of severe facial lacerations, but Trump claims that Moshtaba was injured on the left side of his body, the arm, the leg, the whole thing. Iranian fuel reserves may dry up within weeks. Iran produces 120 million liters of gasoline a day, but uses 135 million liters. The government wants to continue using strategic reserves and limit public concern over shortages, while the RGC opposes using the reserves. Kilometer-long queues at gas stations have been observed. The White House affirmed that no negotiations are occurring and that all options, including military, are still on the table. Moving on to the Ukraine-Russia war, a car explosion in St. Petersburg killed a Russian military officer. Local media identified him as a lieutenant colonel, but nothing more. His wife was in the car at the time of the blast and survived, and is receiving medical treatment. Ukraine targeted 2 ozone warehouses overnight in Ufta and Orenburg. Russia's defense ministry claimed that it intercepted 267 drones across Russia and in annexed Crimea. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has warned that it could strike British military sites in Ukraine and elsewhere in retaliation for Britain's material support for Ukraine. This is a response to the news that the UK will give the blueprints for the Scalp Storm Shadow missile to Ukraine to allow local production. The U.S. Undersecretary of Policy for the Department of War, Albert Colby, will be meeting in Brussels with Mark Rutte for what is expected to be a briefing on the Department of War's force review in Europe. Colby will also participate in the North Atlantic Council meeting with allied ambassadors. The U.S. has been reducing the number of troops in Europe in a supposed shift towards the Asian theater. Moving on to Israel, the UN envoy for the Board of Peace, Nikolai Mladenov, took aim at Israel at a briefing for the UN Security Council. Mladenov stated that Israel's ongoing Gaza strikes will not lead to the disarmament of Hamas and to the restrictions that Israel has imposed on shelter supplies for Palestinians living in squalid conditions in the Strip. He also criticized Hamas for not fulfilling its own obligations under the disarmament plan. The Israeli Defense Force and Shin Bet, Israel's internal security and counterintelligence service, have been assisting Palestinian militias in counter-Hamas operations. Israeli forces have been providing cover, artillery, and drone support to these anti-Hamas proxy groups. The IDF ordered a major troop buildup in the West Bank. A standing army division has been put on standby to reinforce troops in the area if required. Violence has been escalating in recent months, and settler violence could ignite a broader escalation in the area. The United States Army announced a plan to spend $2 billion on nuclear microreactors for 5 of its bases within the United States. This will ensure energy independence from the wider electrical grid. Microreactors are small and transportable, so the future aim is to deploy them abroad to later support U.S. bases and operations. In Nigeria, a new study by Lagos-based SBM Intelligence Consultancy estimates that armed groups have raised nearly $6 million U.S. in ransom demands. The study examined the time period between July 2025 and June 2026 and found that at least 7,825 people were abducted, which was a 66% increase from the year before. In Afghanistan, the Taliban continued to claim that Pakistan is supporting armed opponents of the regime. The Taliban police chief in Badakhshan claims that Pakistan has established bases and training centers for those groups along the border and in the Chitrel region. The Pakistani government denied these allegations, and one group, the Afghanistan Freedom Front, also denied it, saying that they were based in Afghanistan and supported by its people. Finally, in Nepal, after flash flooding and mudslides, over 360 people have been killed and over 1,400 are missing. Floods highlighted the growing glacier risks in the warming Himalayas. And that concludes today's Wires Brief. If you found this useful, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and visit defenseport.com for analysis on these topics and more. And until next time, have a good day.